So I've been holding on to this little tray that I found in Dollar General for quite some time now. This was a Dollar General purchase for $5. And although I love the bones and the shape of this perfect size little tray, the pattern doesn't really go with my aesthetics. So what I'm going to do is, of course, I'm going to come in with some of my trusty old Rust-Oleum spray paint, and I'm just going to give a coat of spray paint to the inside, and we're going to change this up a notch. So I just wanted to show that not all the times crafts turn out the way you expected. My original intentions were to pop out the backing of this thing so that I could have added at the little inlet with the spray paint, but it didn't work out that way without breaking it. So I decided to just tape it with some painter's tape. I removed the hardware. It was just held together by a couple of little screws. And I removed the screws and took off the hardware and taped it up so that I can go and spray paint it. So let's see what happens. All right, so here's a look at that tray now that we've given it a coat of that spray paint. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take off the painter's tape that we put around the border. I'm gonna take it off, and then I am going to come in with some of this here Waverly antiquing wax. So I was kind of scared of putting the painter's tape directly on the white painted part because I don't want to peel up the paint. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pour a little bit in here because a little bit goes a long way. And then I'm gonna come in with some of this. This is just regular water. And I'm going to spray a couple of spritz of water inside till I get it to a consistency that I like. So now it's not that jelly-like. It's a little bit more runny, more of like a stain should be. And I'm going to go ahead and apply it with my brush as such. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to wipe it down with the baby wipe. So after I get a significant amount on, I'm going to come in with my wipe and I'm just going to wipe it down. All right, y'all, that's it. We're down to the wire. This is what we got going on after allowing that antiquing wax to set up and dry. And I did go all around the edges as well. So now I have some of this here. They're called wall tiles. And these are from the Target Dollar Spot, Target Bullseye Playground. And they're just peeling sticks. So I did go ahead and off camera because clearly they're a little bit too big for the tray. They're slightly oversized. So I did go ahead and cut one down. And so what I did was I cut from the sides because I wanted to have that separation line in the middle. And this is not a whole piece by any means. It's like little squares. So I'm going to try to get it on. Okay, so even though these are individual tiles and it's not a complete sheet, I'm treating it as such. So I went ahead and I started the top of the first two tiles there and I folded this back. And so now I'm just going to peel this down as I smooth out the tile until I get that sheet adhered. As you can see, that was a clear fail. So now I have to try to just put them down individually because it didn't work as the whole street. So I got to try to line them up. So here's a look at that peeling stick now that I had a chance to lay it down. My opinion on this is that I think it's a pain in the you-know-what. And if I had to do this project all over again, I'd probably use another treatment for this. But overall, in general, I like the contrasting the style of it and the colors because I like the way the black and white pops off of the brown. So now all that's really left to do is to pop the handles back on, and I'm just going to return those screws right back to their original housing. I can still see the little holes and I got my trusty little screwdriver from the Dollar Tree. I'm just gonna go ahead and screw that. And there you have it. We're down to the last screw. I'm just gonna twist that in as so, right back into the original hardware. And there you have it, my little Bohemian inspired tray. I love it. I can't wait to style it. Okay, so for this next DIY, I have one of these Dollar Tree sunburst mirrors that I've had in my craft stash for a while now. And all I did was take a little piece of craft paper and cut it down to size to cover up the mirror there so that you won't get any glare back from it, because my intentions are to hit it with a coat of this flat white spray paint. So I'm going to be using the white spray paint on the sunburst, and then I have some of these here Dollar Tree dot adhesive stickers, and I'm gonna come in and hit these stickers with a coat of this flat black spray paint while I have the spray paint out. So now with the magic of YouTube, okay, and here's a look at what we got going on now that we gave them both a blast of that spray paint. This is how the little sunburst came out, and then I blasted that metallic little holographic stickers. I blasted them with spray paint as well. So next I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna come in with these peel and stick stickers. Okay, so here's what I'm using to adhere those dots down, and I'm simply just putting a little dollop of glue right smack in the center of that bead and pressing it on to my little mirror. And I'm just going to continue to do that until I get all the way around the... Wow, I seriously have a love-hate relationship with this glue. So for that very reason, I just had no choice but to bust out my trusty old glue gun. And so what we're going to be working on next, I have these two ribbons that I had in my stash, and one is kind of like a mesh tubing, and then this one is just wired jute cord. I think I'm probably going to use this for the hanger, and I'm going to use some of this mesh tubing to put around that sunburst. I'm going to just wrap it around behind those buttons as such. So I'm just taking the glue a little bit at a time and hitting that mesh tubing with it, because I don't want to burn myself, and this is a process that you got to do carefully as you go around and hold it into place, because it's very messy. By all means, feel free to stop at one go around. It looks perfectly fine as is, but in the interest of trying to camouflage any imperfections, I think I'm going to go on ahead and wrap another one and do a second go around on this little sunburst. So we are getting down to the wire, guys. I promise you that. So here's what we got going on. Here's a look at what it looks like after that second round of the mesh tubing. And so now what I have here is this hyacinth charger, and this I purchased at the Dollar General, and it was $3.50. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be securing my little sunburst to the charger, but before I can do so, I have these little wood pieces, and I'm going to be attaching the wood pieces all the way around, because this is not flush, you know, to the thing. I need to have something with substance on it so that I can secure it to the charger. And I'm basically just taking that piece of wood and running a bead of hot glue through it and slapping it on that little plastic. And I'm trying to be mindful so that it doesn't show through the front, because we don't want it to show. And I'm going to continue gluing it around. Once again, that last one, so that we can close it out, we're just going to add that glue right onto that piece of stick, and we're going to add it right there to that, and that's the last one. So now I have these that are a little bit longer. So I'm thinking I can glue them something like this so that I can secure it like that. So I'm gonna try that. Okay, last but not least, the final piece of the puzzle, and then this will be almost complete. We're going to just put that right on top of those sticks like that to create another little place to attach. So now this is what you should have and what it should be looking like. So now I'm just going to try to work as quickly as I can because hot glue sets up quickly. So I'm going to add a bead of glue to all of those pieces of wood that I put on my piece. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and try to lay this down and center it to the best of my ability. And that looks about right. Okay, so now to hang it, I did go ahead and cut a piece of that jute wire cord that I said I was going to use, the wire jute. And Dollar Tree has natural wood beads now. So I did go ahead and string some of those jute beads onto that jute cord. It's very easy to string with this wire jute. So I love it. So now I think I'm just going to go on ahead and I'm going to attach it to the top. All right guys, so to attach it, I simply just took my little Cricut spatula thingamajiggy and I pushed the that wire jute right through the hyacinth on that charger, and I wrapped it around back and I tied it in a knot to the best of my ability because since it's wired, it's not easy to work with. So now to secure it, I'm just gonna come in and I'm gonna add a boatload of hot glue right on top to secure this because we don't want this to come off. So, and to make sure that it doesn't damage the wall, because you know, after all, that does have wire, I'm gonna come ahead and I'm gonna put a piece of this duct tape over it to secure it. And I'm gonna repeat the same step on the opposite side. Okay now, so after completing the same exact step on the opposite side, our DIY is officially complete, and this is what we have left. I am just in love. It's so boho, so me, and I love the way that it came out, and I hope I inspired you to create one as well. All right, so for this quick, simple, and easy next DIY, I have for you some of these plastic napkin ring holders, and these are from the Shore Living line. This is new at Dollar Tree this year, and so what I'm going to be doing is just giving them a little upcycle. So to start with, I'm going to be removing this little ribbon that it has on it, but I'm not going to discard it because we're going to be repurposing it. And as you see, if you look closely enough, this is just attached with like some double-sided tape or something. So I'm just going to go ahead and try to take it off to the best of my ability, get all of them off. So as you see, I was able to remove them all pretty easily. And as I said, I will be repurposing them, so I'm not going to toss them. I'm going to just put them here to the side. And then I'm going to come in with some of this here Rust-Oleum 2 times the coverage flat black matte spray paint. And I'm just going to give these here a cover of the spray paint, and I'll be back. All right, so here's a look at those napkin rings after giving them that coat of spray paint, and there I gave them complete and full coverage. I just had to give them the one coat, and I went ahead and I skipped a step. But remember, I told you we were going to put these to the side and save them, so we were going to repurpose them. So I love the way that contrast looks with the black and the neutral. I just love that combination. But what I'm gonna come ahead and do is I picked up a pack of these wood curl roses from the Dollar Tree in this 4-piece pack. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add one of these curls to the napkin ring right where the ribbon ends, so that we can close it out. And we're gonna make a little boho style napkin ring. So to do so, I'm just gonna go ahead and add some glue right to the bottom of that rose. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that rose right there, and I'm gonna hold it into place for a couple of minutes until it has a chance to set up. Okay, and this is what you should be left with after you secure that rose. And feel free to go around it with some extra glue, because you want to be generous with the glue. You can't be stingy with the glue, because otherwise they won't stick. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat that same step with the next three more times, and securing this with glue, with hot glue when need be. I'm just going to start right in between those 3 threads. I'm going to start on one end and try to end it in the other and come around as such. Now that I'm at the end where I started, I'm going to go ahead and secure it with just a dab of that hot glue to secure it into place. And I'm going to try to hold it there for a couple of minutes to the best I can. Okay, once again, I'm going to come in with a generous amount of that glue. You don't want to be stingy with the glue, because this is the only thing that we're relying on for it to stick. And we're going to put it right smack where those 2 ends of the ribbon met, and we're going to hold it into place for a couple of seconds until that glue has a chance to settle up. Okay, so here's a close-up of what they should look like after you've repeated that process 3 more times to have a set of 4. And I'm just loving the way that they came out. They look very Bohemian inspired. I'm loving the colors and the contrast and the pop against the black. And so now I'll show you how they look in a table placement.